Good evening, YouTube. In this video, I'm going to be documenting how I replaced a front ring and pinion gear in this Branson tractor. I made a lot of mistakes you can learn from. I'm probably going to make a few more. This is a Branson 4020R. 20 means heavy duty series. It's a Korean tractor. Branson doesn't really mean a lot. It's made by Kookji. That's not a racial slur. Kookji makes several kinds of tractors. I think Century is one, and they even make some John Deere's, some Cummins engines. So some of these parts may be available on a lot of different tractors. You might see the same front axle on some other tractors, is what I'm trying to say. I hope you don't mind. I got started without you. So that's the tractor. I'll show you some of these parts and tell you how I broke it. I'm a very gentle equipment operator, so I wasn't doing anything that felt dangerous at the time. I was just driving into a pile of dirt and lifting up the bucket in four-wheel drive at the same time. I think my biggest mistake was all I had for ballast on here was this little trailer ball right there, and the tires were slipping, and then all of a sudden I just heard a bang, and then it sounded like I had gravel in my front axle. And what happened is all these bolts right here just sheared right off, and they ground up some of the teeth on this ring gear, and also on the pinion. You can see one of the mistakes I made was I burnt this pinion out because I couldn't get it out any other way, but I'm going to show you how you can avoid that. Apparently it was a fairly common problem, because this is the new version, the problem solver version. It has 2 extra holes in it for some dowel pins that match up with these holes, and apparently once you get those installed, it doesn't break anymore. These are, I call them the hubs. Just the gears right there at the wheel mounts onto there. There was no need to take these apart, and I do not recommend you take them apart for a couple reasons. They're very heavy duty. There's a lot lighter weight things in the drivetrain that'll probably break before this. The second reason is because of shims, and that's not a Colorado pronoun. I'm talking about these spacers right here. They fall out just as soon as you pull that thing apart, and some of them, one side has 2 shims stacked up, and I don't know which way it went. So that'll be interesting going back together. Here's the kind of the end of the axle housing. You will need to pull both of those. One thing I learned right off the bat was this is not like your K1500. There's no pumpkin on here. You don't know which side the differential's on, but I'll tell you it's on the farmer's right hand side. But you'll still need to pull them both out anyway. Let's see what's next. Here's if I can get it to focus. There we go. Here's the pinion. I've got kind of an exploded view going for you here, and this is going to be real handy for you, because after you find out what's broken, it's probably going to take you like 5 months to get parts, and you'll forget how this went together. But this snap ring will go in first, and then everything to the right of the snap ring, which is one outer race, will go in through the axle tube, and then the rest of this comes in through the pinion side. There's a spacer, another outer race, tapered roller bearing, then the O-ring, and then this thing, which is called a collar seal, and then another seal goes around the collar seal like that. And this is a very expensive part right here. I melted the old one out, so I had to buy a new one, and there were none of these in America. It was about $100 to get it to my door. But you can, it's a nut, it's a pinion nut, but look, it's not octagonal or anything. It's just got that one little flat side right there, and another flat side over there, and an 1 3/8 socket is too small. 1 7/16 is too big. 36 millimeters too small. 37 is too big. So instead of you buying all the sockets, what you can do, I figured out, is you get an 1 3/8 deep 12-point socket like this one, and then you can modify it a little bit to where, let's see if it'll show. I left 4 teeth on this thing on opposing sides. There's 2 right there, you can see, and then there's 2 more up here just opposite of those 2, and the rest of them I had to ground down, and I just did it with a Dremel tool. And those 4 teeth that you left will mash up with the 2 flat sides, and hopefully that'll work. We'll see. It's in there now. Alright, we'll see how it goes together. Here's some part numbers you're probably going to need too, and while I'm showing you these, I'll talk you through the order of operations, how you want to do this. The first thing you want to do is you want to go buy some clean 5-gallon buckets with lids on them, unless you're due for a hydraulic fluid change, in which case you can just get rid of it. But you're going to have to pour out all the hydraulic fluid, and then also you need to buy that 1 3/8 deep socket too. Then the first thing you do is you pull the drive shaft, and then you're going to do the pinion seal, and then you're going to move out to the axles. But don't worry about writing that down right now. I will integrate a PowerPoint slide into the end of this. But here's how that axle comes out. It's got these little collars that they just slip back and forth, and there's a snap ring on there, but you slide the snap ring back and then push both of these collars back, and then this thing will fall out. And from there, the pinion nut, front and rear axle, and then you're going to pull the differential carrier out. I had to use an axle puller for that. Then you're going to look for whatever parts are damaged, and then the assembly is just the reverse order. There's a snap ring. It's internal. Probably the smaller your snap ring pliers are, the better. I got it in there. It took a combination of snap ring pliers and pry bars and just fingers. Turned out to be the best way to get it in there. Up next is an inner race. These things work better when you keep them fresh. I don't really understand why, but if you put them in the freezer, it may just fall right in there. Oh, it did. It did just fall right in there. So keep your pinion and your tapered rollers in the freezer. I was able to get the tapered roller on the pinion without a press, and that race just went right in there. Some engine assembly lube on there. Probably not the right thing. You can leave a comment. That went in pretty well. Up next is a spacer. So the snap ring ended up going in best with just fingers and couple of pry bars and some brute force. Snap ring pliers were not the best tool for going back together with it. Put the outer races in the freezer and they ended up going in there pretty good. I did have to drive one of them in with a hammer. Next is the other tapered roller, and then the O-ring. If that's where it's supposed to be, so I'm gonna have to get in there and look at it. The bearing's not going on far enough, so I'm gonna have to use a socket and tap it on there a little farther. And that didn't work, so I'm gonna have to put the pinion back in the freezer, freshen it up a little bit, and see if it'll go then. So while that pinion's in the freezer chilling, it's a good time to clean up these bearings. These went on the carrier. They don't feel great. They're not smooth as glass, but it's hard to tell if a bearing's good or not while it's dirty. So I'm gonna try cleaning them up in here. Never used this technique before, but seems like it would work. Should probably put on some gloves. Real bit about that size. See if anything. Closer. I didn't have a drill bit that felt like it was just the right size, so I think I'll try. Need a bigger ratchet. Hey, why is he taking those bolts out now? Because there's supposed to be a big old bearing right here. And I forgot to put it on. I told y'all I was going to make more mistakes. Nothing goes right the first time. That's alright. We're doing it wrong together. This might be a bad deal. Oh, that ain't coming off. Oh, that is a bummer. That is not budging. Oh. All right, I got it off of there. I just banged it up and down in the plates on the hydraulic press. Wasn't too bad. Ooh, look at that. Got lucky. See how this goes on now. It's a little better this time. I got the carrier put together. The pinion's been in the freezer overnight. I got my bearing out there baking in the sun. Should go together a little bit better. Now, let's give it a shot. Go in there nice. Might give that a second to lock in there. And I'm going to wipe it out. Well, you probably can't see a thing. Over here. Next thing is this O-ring. I'm going to lube it up in hopes that it doesn't tear. That went right where it was supposed to go. Up next is the collar seal. Special custom tool. See how it works. Oh, like a glove. I can't hold that pinion though. I'll have to put the carrier in and then an axle or two before I can tighten that up. And after I do get it tight, then it'll be time for the seal. But the socket worked. This is on the farmer's right side. Farmer's right hand side. I'm gonna throw some more assembly lube in these bearings. Probably not necessary. I had to get this out with the axle puller, so it makes sense if it's hard to get back in there. I may have to throw this whole thing in the freezer. Try giving it a few taps. going. Well, that went. Looky there. Plowing the North 40 in no time. Here it is from the farmer's left. Don't know how well you can see in there. I think once the axles get snugged up, everything will be mashed together like it should. This part's real heavy. One of the things Koopji did a pretty good job of, I like anyway, is they put an O-ring around all these parts, so there's no, you don't have to buy a replacement gasket. And there is a spacer or another shim. Ooh, look at that. 2, 3 of them. Oh, and those are different thicknesses too. Apparently that's important. Let's go right there. Oh, goodness sakes. Shaft comes out. It's alright, goes back in. I learned a helpful thing while I was cleaning this off. All these shims fell off. And I realized they're all double stacked. They all measure about 20 thousandths together and 10 individually. So maybe they're not so much shims as they are just spacers. Just takes a lot of pressure off of getting the right one in the right place. I'm just going to throw it together now. These bolts look like they had some thread locker on them from the factory. So I'm going to add some too. Lube that O-ring. I just realized that looks pretty rough. I'll find something to clean that up with. Get some 120 grit. See if that works. Clean it up. Looks like it's cleaning up pretty good. I'll start these with a wrench. Got the wrong size wrench. I'm going to leave that in the video. See what I forgot, YouTube? Forgot those shims. I thought it felt a little rough when I tried to turn it by hand. Reason. All right. We're doing it wrong together. This may have been another mistake I made. I did this side first, and I unbolted these 4 bolts right here, and the inner part of the hub just fell out of the bottom. Probably wasn't necessary, but it did make this side a lot lighter going in, a little bit less struggle than the other side. But it may be more of a struggle going back together. We'll see. I just learned a big lesson. It was better to do it the other way, on the other side, because now I can't get this tie rod into this hole. I mean, I might could, but I'd risk damaging that steering ram. I think the best way forward is just to loosen up these four, let this fall down, and then put this on the tie rod end. I'm still thinking about what the best way to do this would be. One better way to have done it would have been to get this in there while I was getting this whole axle in, but that was a real handful. I thought maybe I could loosen up the steering ram, and that would probably work too, but this bolt right here doesn't look like it can come out all the way because it's up against the frame, and I can't get to it with an impact anyway, so I am going to split this right here because it wasn't too hard on the other side. I don't know what in the wide world of sports is going on here, but this appears to be way too big for this. I don't know how that's possible. Let's look at the other side. Oh, that's it. It's not like this, it's like this. And I probably would have been fine doing it like that. Probably didn't need to split that. Probably should have just flipped this over and looked at the other side. So many good lessons we're learning together, doing it the wrong way. Looks like there should be a washer in there, but I didn't see one on the other side. I think that's good. Always use new cotter pins, or else you're just a bad person. I got 3 blocks of wood. Alright, got both the tires on. And I realize now that I did need to get both the tires on before I fill up the front axle because I haven't put this seal in there yet. And I gotta tighten this nut up now that the tires are on the ground so the pinion doesn't spin. And then I'll put this seal in. And kind of guessing about the torque specs on this, this pinion nut. There's no crush sleeve, and the way it's set up with two tapered rollers facing each other, it's kind of like a wheel bearing. So I'm just going to go with snug, a little bit snugger than a wheel bearing maybe. Here's the special tool we made. Seems to fit like a glove. Alright, that's all I'm going to do for that. And there's the seal. Might as well lube that up too. I don't have a sealed driver for this. I got this 1.5 inch socket. It's not deep enough. Special tools not gonna work. No. I gotta come up with a pipe or something. Oh, there it is. Alright, I may have found the perfect tool, or it could be another hard lesson learned. That's a piece of 2-inch Schedule 40 PVC. It's a pretty snug fit. I think it'll drive that seal really well. I may not get it out of there though. If it doesn't work out, it's your fault. It's in there. I don't know if I should go any farther or not. It could probably go a little far, maybe, but it looks like it's right on the sealing surface of that collar seal. I'm gonna call it good, see what happens. Alright, drive shaft going in. It's just this collar right here, it slides back and forth, and then I don't know if you can see, there's a snap ring right behind it. The snap ring will slide up, lock it in place. And then this bigger part right here with the O-ring will slide into the axle tube. That'll be the front. And then, sorry about the camera angle. This here is the back. It's probably upside down now. You may not even be able to see that. Anyway, same thing, same collar and snap ring. I got those collars on. Now I just got to put this outer part, the sleeve of the drive shaft on. It was tough coming out. It might be tough going in. Probably. Not even close. What that is. So I boogered that up when I was hammering that pinion out of there. So I'm gonna have to clean up that edge. So this will go in. I could probably use a half round bastard, but I think I'll try a Dremel first. Alright, YouTubes, one more thing I wanted to point out to you is because you're probably not going to believe you have to drain the hydraulic fluid. I didn't think I'd have to drain the hydraulic fluid. And you're probably thinking that bozo obviously doesn't know what he's doing. I'm not going to drain the hydraulic fluid. So here's why you should do it before. Because to disconnect this drive shaft, here you got to get to this snap ring and this collar, and you can't get to either one of those unless you pull this. Earlier I promised you to integrate, I would integrate a Microsoft PowerPoint slideshow for you, so that's what I've done here. To give us a chance to recapitulate, go through the order of operations, and then highlight some other talking points. So the first step, buy the buckets with the lids, the 1 3/8 deep 12-point socket, and unless you have steel driver around, 2-inch schedule 40 PVC works well for that. Drain your fluids, your hydraulic fluid in your front axle, remove the drive shaft, remove the pinion nut before you remove the wheels so it holds your pinion still. Remove the hub gears. I mean, if you're a hoss, you can leave the hub gears on there. But if you just have the strength of 1 or 2 men like me, then you may want to separate or take the hubs off, and that keeps you from separating the tie rod ends. If you do it all together, then you're probably gonna tear up your tie rod ends. And then you can remove your axle housings, remove your differential carrier, using a bearing puller from O'Reilly's for that. Worked real well. Remove the pinion, you can hammer that out. You can leave the snap ring. Next, you look for your broken parts and you order parts. Talking point here about ordering parts. It's extremely difficult to find a dealer that can find the parts and get the parts for you. And my state has 3 or 4 Branson dealers. I don't even think they can find the parts manual. I did get some parts from a dealer around Dallas, but then it rained and it took down their network. Oh, I need to scroll down, I think. All right. Need to scroll a little more. There we go. So the place you want to get your parts from, save you some headaches, is Mathis Trailers and Equipment in Rome, Georgia. You can call Robin down there. She's got what you need on hand, probably. I didn't get paid to say that. They're just that good. And after you get your parts, assembly is just a reverse order. Thanks for watching.